Good morning and welcome to Frontiers of Knowledge segment of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. The word weary or getting weary from coronavirus was hoping for a vaccine. England, USA, China, India all were in a race to produce a vaccine. England came first as they started testing, and lo and behold comes Russia. And Russia has declared that they have already formulated a COVID-19 vaccine. Not only that, it has been registered. President Putin's daughter has been vaccinated. And the fund that invested in this vaccine, the president of that fund, Kirill Dmitriev, he was tested, or rather, recipient of this vaccine, his wife, and his both parents. And both parents are above the age of 70. All of them have been vaccinated and none of them has suffered any ill effects. Russia has named this vaccine Sputnik 5. The purpose is to show that as Russia was number one in sending a spaceship in the outer world, beating America at its game, once again Russia has proved its prowess, its capability, its research acumen to show that the Russian scientists are the best in the world. And now the Philippines president has volunteered to be the first person to get a shot when the vaccine is received. According to the reports, tens of thousands of the people will be vaccinated in this month alone. And millions of volunteer Russians, teachers, and medical workers will be vaccinated starting October. And yet there is such a noise being created that this is a fake vaccine, that it can be a dangerous vaccine, that it is a vaccine produced without proper testing. And what is more amusing is peer judged. Now, since when is peer judging a hallmark of the success of any research? It is being used, I don't deny it. But mostly peer judging is you scratch my back, I scratch your back. You come up with X invention or discovery or research result, and all your peers, unless they're jealous of you, would praise it, proviso being that you praise them and approve of that when they come up with something which they consider to be good, mostly commercial. Anyway, Sputnik 5 is here, and Russia has very clearly indicated that large-scale production of the vaccine will start next month in September. They are going to be manufactured in 5 countries, and more than 500 million doses of the vaccine per year will be manufactured. 500 million doses every year in 5 countries. While the Russians were thinking of giving the vaccine right to 5 countries, 20 countries have asked for more than 1 billion doses of the vaccine. So 20 billion doses has already been ordered. And this, in spite of the fact that the scientists of USA have rejected it, WHO says no, it's still not approved. But who cares about the WHO approval, which, as we have seen, is a biased, undependable body which is mostly the handmaiden of certain world powers. This demand of 20 countries asking for more than 1 billion each, that is above 20 billion doses of the vaccine, shows the world's great faith in the vaccine and also confidence in the scientists who developed and certified it and exalted it with a new name, Sputnik 5. But let's be very clear. Is the market demand any indication about the vaccine's efficacy and safety? Now, vaccines are something, the results of which are not visible right away. It takes time. And the taste of the pudding lies in eating. This vaccine was rushed work, or is rushed work, and rightly so. The fear that is stalking humanity and the hope that the vaccine shall be a savior made the scientists work hard, burn midnight oil or electricity, and come up with a vaccine. They rushed through the animal and the phase 1 and phase 2 of the human clinical trials. And according to the doubters of doubting Thomases, the results are have of the clinical trials have not been published and therefore not peer reviewed. So taking the wind out of the sails of the skeptics, Russia has said that they are going to publish these details by the end of August. One thing more which the skeptics are saying is that the vaccine has not undergone the crucial phase 3 controlled human trials. And what happens in a controlled human trial normally is that the thousands of volunteers are vaccinated, results recorded and peer reviewed. The biggest problem in part 3 is the phase 3 is that it takes a long time. You have to vaccinate, you have to wait for a long time before the results can be compiled, collated, and analyzed. But Russia has a plea. They say that the Sputnik 5 vaccine might farm the research Russian scientists had done earlier on Ebola vaccine. Now, Russia again is the only country in the world which had developed a vaccine for Ebola way back in 2015. And then Ebola virus mutated. They developed this another vaccine to deal with the mutant Ebola in 2018. And according to the scientists, the vaccine Sputnik 5 developed by Russia is almost identical to the one developed by Oxford University and AstraZeneca. And if the similarity is there, if the results are there, if the president's daughter, the funders, president, his wife, his parents, and thousands more who have been vaccinated have not reported any negative results, then the presumption is that the claims of Russia are true and correct. And then comes another charge. The first charge was that the research is fake. And now say that Russia stole their vaccine research secrets. Wow. If they stole, were the Western labs sleeping? What about their security? The whole thing smacks of petty rivalry. We should not be there when the world is facing a pandemic. And they say that the Russia stole their vaccine research secret and rushing approval for political and propaganda purposes while cutting corners on the testing. Maybe partly true. Cutting corners is usually done in emergencies. As I always say, that in such situations, urgent always takes precedence over important. When the millions of the people are suffering, you want to give them some hope. And even if it's a placebo, but the people are satisfied as the demand of more than 20 billion vaccine shows, then it's to be welcomed. It's not something to be sneezed at. But the World Health Organization, petty minded as it is, has listed the Russian vaccine in phase 1 trials and says it's not a front runner. As if these 20 countries asking for more than a billion doses, as if the Philippines president are offering to be the first to receive the vaccine, bother about this government, this statement of WHO saying that it's only phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 have to be conducted, analyzed, peer review have to be done. All this smacks of absolutely petty-mindedness. These assertions by the West and the WHO are irrelevant to the point. As I said earlier, the point is very clear. The taste of the pudding lies in the eating. Some people have tested the pudding and they have found it to be okay. And that is despite the fact that the vaccine has not been put through the so-called crucial phase 3 clinical trials. Do you remember that China also authorized its vaccine? That also was not proven in phase 3 human trials. And they have said that this vaccine would be used on their military men for 1 year. And they've started using it from July 2020. That's last month. They started it. There's a major difference. The results of the Chinese experiment are not known. The result of the Russian vaccine Sputnik 5 are known. What is Putin hopes to gain? One is, of course, satisfying billions of the people of the world, giving them some hope against dreaded coronavirus, giving them some hope that vaccine is here, and that's why more than 20 billion vaccines have been ordered. The second is more political in nature, not scientific, and that is restoring the glory days. Putin is definitely playing high stake Russian roulette. The gamble may pay off. If it does, Russia will gain enormous prestige and recognition for its scientific capabilities. And it will economically gain a lot. It will capture a major chunk, a major segment of the multi-trillion-dollar global COVID-19 vaccine market. And that's not something to be sneezed at. If they have more than 50% of the multi-trillion-dollar global COVID vaccine market, wow, they jump right ahead of all other countries. And suppose the gamble fails. Suppose the real results later on show that the vaccine is not proper, that the lives of the millions of the Russians being used as guinea pigs in substitute for phase 3 clinical trials will be ruined and they'll be lost. Quite possible, because instead of protecting them from COVID-19, the vaccine may infect them with it or make them more prone to more severe forms of COVID-19. But then they say, well begun is half done. President loves his daughter. I know it personally. And in case he can subject his daughter to the test, and the president of the fund who funded the vaccine tests it on himself, his wife, his parents, along with millions of other doctors, then of course the fear is not there. And then the significance of the name. The vaccine is named Sputnik 5. It's a reference, as I said earlier, to the first satellite in space and the first man in space race that Russia won with the Sputnik satellite and with Vostok spacecraft. That gives a thought that Russia sees winning the vaccine race as a matter of national glory, a restoration of the glory period when Russian science was at the height and all others looked pygmy to it. Russia has once again shown that dedication, sincerity, and capability are much more important than mere petty political gimmickry. Sputnik 5 is here. Let's see whether it is really as useful, as beneficial as claimed or not. But then in any invention, such consequences are always awaited and just take a long, long time to see the real results. Let's hope for the best, for the good of the man and the good of the humanity. Thank you.